Purim, the joyous holiday celebrating the foiled plan by the wicked Haman to destroy the Jewish people and their faith by Queen Esther, and thus saving the Jewish people. And how do we celebrate? We eat, of course. A traditional recipe is the Hamantaschen, a triangle-shaped cookie with delicious, sweet, and sometimes savory fillings. There are various reasons for why we eat a three-corner cookie, but those reasons are for another time, and I'm going to show you my recipe for making Hamantaschen. So let's get cooking. This recipe makes about 40 cookies using a 3.5-inch cookie cutter. Started with 4 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks, and then I added 1 cup of white sugar. And then continue to blend the sugar and the yolks together until it becomes a lighter color, almost creamy. Then I added 1 cup of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1 tablespoon of orange juice, and 4 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then just simply make sure you blend that all together. You want to add the dry ingredients to your wet ingredients and continue mixing until you have a nice soft dough. It shouldn't take very long, and you don't want to overmix the dough also. When the dough is nice and sticky, it's ready to be used. Then turn the dough over onto your work surface, and you want to let the dough rest, and by putting it in the fridge, it rests and hardens a little bit so it's easier to use. And you can put that either in parchment paper or in plastic wrap like I did here. And then it's going to go in the fridge for about an hour. Add a little bit of flour so the plastic wrap doesn't stick to the dough, which could happen. And there you go. After about an hour, you want to make sure you flour the surface because the dough is sticky, which is wonderful. It's going to make your final product crumbly and soft and just the perfect texture when you're enjoying it. But in the meantime, to make it easier for you, add some flour to your work surface, add some flour to your rolling pin, and you want to roll the dough so it's thin, but not so thin so it's hard to pick up each cookie when you're forming it. Maybe about a 1/4 inch thickness, maybe a little less. You can play that by ear, and that's totally up to you how thin you want it to be. And here I am making my cookie rounds. Remove the excess dough and just set that aside. You're going to re-roll the extra pieces after you finish this first batch. And then I used a tablespoon. You can use a little less if you like. I won't recommend more for the 3.5-inch cookie cutter, but it's up to you how much chocolate you would like. But this gives you just enough chocolate that it fills the whole surface of the cookie once you pinch it into the traditional triangle shape. I like to dip my fingers in a little bit of the flour so my hands don't stick to the dough once I'm forming them. Just makes it a little easier and you can go a little faster that way. All right, and it's good to have a dough scraper. The plastic one is great because it's bendable and it's pliable, and it's easy to get underneath each cookie round in order to remove it from your working surface without damaging the dough. After you've made your Hamantaschen cookies, you just put it onto a parchment paper lined baking sheet, and it goes in the oven at 350 degrees for 18 to 20 minutes depending on your oven. After about 15-16 minutes, I will check it. When it turns a little bit brown on top, just want the tips to be brown, then it's ready and perfect. You don't want to overhold your Hamantaschen in the oven because you want to maintain the crispy, or not crispy, but rather soft and crumbly. If you overhold it in the oven, and over-bake it, it'll become crumbly and it'll defeat the purpose of this really nice, silky, and soft dough. This Hamantaschen recipe is fantastic. It's soft and crumbly, and you won't regret it by trying it. If you love this recipe, well, give it a try in your own home for this Purim. Thank you for joining me. Take a look at the rest of my videos, and I'm sure you'll find something delicious for you and your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.